Hello children, I welcome you all to your English class. I hope you all are fit and fine. For today's English lesson, we will be continuing the second poem from your honeysuckle book, The Kite, and it's written by Harry Ben. In our previous video lesson, we had gone through the explanation of the text and found that the writer, the poet, wants us to fly a kite. He persuaded us, he tried to convince us in flying a kite ourselves and experience the joy of flying a kite. He said that merely watching a kite fly doesn't give you any joy. Okay, what will give you the greatest joy? What will give you a greatest happiness? The experience of flying it yourself. So with that, we had also seen that the poet has used literary devices in his poem. Okay, what were the literary devices that he used? Two of them mainly, simile and alliteration. Why did he use it? Why do you think literary devices are used in a poem? It enhances the beauty of the poem. Imagine I tell you that you are beautiful, okay? It's just plain words. I told you clearly that you are beautiful. There's no way of speaking, there's no style in it. So how does it become different? When I say that you are as beautiful as a rose, okay? So when I compared your beauty to a rose, it became poetic. Okay, so when poets describe their feelings, they do not say it plainly, they do not say it ordinarily. They try to use literary devices that will beautify their text, that will beautify their poem. So here also we had seen that he had used simile and alliteration in the poem. So we had learned about these two in our previous video lesson also, but I thought you need some more examples to get a better understanding of these two concepts. We will be learning about them in detail, and also we will be doing the meanings of the words that are there in the poem. Okay, so let's get started. The first one is similes. Similes are figures of speech that compare two things that are not actually alike, using the words like and as. So what has been told here? Similes are figures of speech. Now do not get confused between literary devices and figures of speech, because they are one and the same. Okay, these two are the same thing. If you're talking about literary devices, they are the same thing. If you're talking about figures of speech, they are the same thing. Why literary devices are also called figures of speech? Because these devices, these tools help you in speaking. Okay, it will help you develop your speaking skills. If I already gave you an example just in the beginning of the video, now one more example can be, she is as busy as a bee. Okay, so the busyness is compared. When I said that she is busy, it's plain words, but when I said that she is as busy as a bee, it means it's actually giving the detail, it is actually comparing things. Okay, and it becomes more poetic. Okay, so style change and the way of expressing ourselves change, and we can use the words very efficiently. So here also we can find that it's a figures of speech that compares two things. There has to be a comparison between two things, right? If your mom compares you with your brother, then it's not a simile, okay? Because there has to be two different things, two things that are not actually alike. Okay, human cannot be compared with a human, a stone cannot be compared with a stone. So it has to be two different objects, like a man to a building, like a man to an animal, like an animal to a vegetable. Okay, so it can mean anything, but the things had to be two different objects. they cannot be the same. So let's go through the example to understand when can we use simile, or how we can identify the use of simile. Okay, so the first sentence is, the airplane soared like an eagle. Okay, the airplane soared like an eagle. Soared, we had already learned the meaning of this word in this poem itself. It means to fly or rise higher. So here, an airplane and an eagle are two different objects. One is an inanimate object. This airplane is an inanimate object, but an eagle is a living object. So here we can see that two different things are compared to each other. Okay, compared with each other. So their flight, their tendency, their actual feature, actual characteristic to reach to a great height is being compared here. Next is, you were as brave as a lion. Okay, you is obviously a human being and lion is an animal, so they are two different things, right? So we can see that these two different things has been compared here. One is an animal and one is a lion. So what is the common feature? What is the common characteristic they have? They have bravery, they have courage. Okay, so this thing is common in them. That's why it's being compared here. Now you can also see there is the use of as in the second sentence, and in the first sentence there is the use of like. I told you here that in similes we compare things by using words like and as. So here also we had seen in the first two examples that like and as has been used. Okay, now we will move to the third one. He is as busy as a bee. If I commonly said that he is busy, so it doesn't give it doesn't put any beauty, okay, to the statement. But when I say that he is as busy as a bee, that sounds so much expressive. Okay, so here we see that he is as busy as a bee. Now they fought like cats and dogs. Their fighting skill, okay, their fighting, the way they're fighting has been compared. So they are obviously humans and cats and dogs are animals. So we can see here also the two things are different from each other. Okay, one is human, another is animals. So again with the fifth sentence, her voice is as sweet as sugar. So we know that sugar is very sweet. So here also we know that voice, the woman's voice or the lady's voice is compared to the sweetness that the sugar has. That doesn't mean that she is spilling sugar from her mouth. It just means it is very sweet. It is very pleasant to the ears. Okay, just like sugar. Okay, I slept like a log. Here log is the trunk which is cut or which falls from a tree. Okay, and it rests on the ground, so it doesn't move, it's very still. So I slept like a log. That means what? He did not move, he could not feel anything. He slept as if he was inanimate, as if he was a non-living thing. So as if he was like a log. So these are the 6 examples. Now you can do one thing, that you can write some examples on your own and let me know in the comment section if you want, and if you want in your online classes. Okay, so now we will be moving to alliteration. We had seen the examples of alliteration in the poem itself, like bright on the blue, soars like a ship, okay, and again climbs to the crest, breeze blows. So there were 4 or 5 examples in the poem itself. Now we will learn about some other examples which are not in your book, so that you can understand it better. Let's start. Alliteration is a figure of speech in which the same consonant sound repeats in a group of words. Now you have to remember, in this figure of speech, the consonant sounds are repeated. Okay, the words that occur after one another have common consonant sounds. Okay, so let's see it through examples, what consonant sounds I am talking about. I hope you remember what is a vowel and what is a consonant. So all the swar varn sounds like your o, a, e, u, e, o, all these sounds are vowel sounds, right? And in English alphabet, you know, a, I, e, o, u, but it has to depend on the sound and not on the letter. So we know apart from those, we have other letters as consonants. Okay, so now let's go through the example. You will understand it better. Ship should shower in the shade. So sheep should shower in the shade. So when you listen to this sentence, you will see there is a continuous occurrence of sh sound. Okay, sh, sh. Talbe sh is the sh sound that appears continuously. Sheep should shower in the shade. Okay, so the sound sh is a consonant sound. It appears one after the other, or it can happen that they occur after a certain gap. So that also which sound similar or which has similar sounding consonant words, then we can consonant letter words, then we can say that it's an example of alliteration. Again, let's see other example. Okay. So here we have, go and gather the green leaves on the grass. Do you see the occurrence of g sound? G is consonant, right? G is consonant. So, go and gather the green leaves on the grass. All the same consonant words have been marked with blue. Okay, see here, I have marked the consonant with blue color. Ravi ran right until he realized he was running round and round. So, you see here, raw sound is being repeated. So this is also an example of alliteration. And R is not a vowel sound, it's a consonant sound. That's why this is an example of alliteration. Again, Donald Duck danced on the deck. So daw sound is here the consonant sound. So Donald Duck danced on the deck. Okay, daw, 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 it's appearing continuously. So it's an example of alliteration. Again, the last example, Pied Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Okay, here also we see the sound paw appears quite frequently. So that's why this is an example of alliteration. I think you won't have any doubt after this on alliteration and simile. Now we will move towards the meanings of the words that occur, that had appeared in the poem. Okay, so get ready with your notebook and you can take a screenshot so that you can write it later on. Okay, fine. Before moving ahead with the meanings of the chapter, I want to tell you one more thing that's interesting. It's about the rhyming scheme of the poem. Now, what is a rhyming scheme? Rhyming scheme is a pattern of rhyme that appears, that you will see at the end of each line in the poetry. You have to observe the last words of each line and that has to rhyme. So you remember rhymes like Baba Black Sheep and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star that you studied in your early childhood? That was a rhyming scheme, like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, how I wonder what you are. The last words of these two lines are star and R. Do you listen the sound? They are quite similar, right? They are very similar, star and R. So these same words, these same sounding words are called rhymes. So a poem usually have a basic rhyming pattern to it. Okay, you need to know about it because it's here in the poetry as well. So let's find what is the rhyming pattern in this poetry. How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. Now do you see the last words? Blue and new. They rhyme, right? So the first is blue and new. Blue and which rhymes with new. So these, let's say this is A and this is A because they are rhyming. So let's call it A and A. Again, with a dive and a dip, it snaps its tail. So dip doesn't rhyme with tail, so they are quite different. So we are taking it as C and D. Okay, with a dive and a dip. Last word is dip and is tail. To dip and tail. So they are not rhyming. So we will take this as C and this one as D. Okay. Now, then soars like a ship with only a sail. Now we see that ship and sail are there. Okay. Ship and sail. Now do you see that dip is rhyming with ship? So we can call this one also C, and this one tail is rhyming with sail, so this can be called D. So the rhyming pattern in these 6 lines are AA, as you can see, AA, then CD, then again CD. So these 6 lines have this rhyming pattern. Now why did I only do it with 6 lines? Because there are total 24 lines in the poem. We have divided into 4 groups of 6 lines each. So let's see the next 6 lines rhyme or not, or follow the same pattern or not. Okay. So the next 6 lines are: as over tides of wind it rides, climb to the crest of a gust and pulls, then seems to rest as wind falls. So tides and rides, right? So tides and rides. So they are again rhyming. So first one is A and A. Again we have crest and pulls. They do not rhyme. Crest and pulls. So again they will be C and D. The next lines, then seems to rest as wind falls. So the next word is rest, and then it's falls. So if you can see, crest is rhyming with rest. So C and C, and D and D, pulls and falls. So here also we see the same rhyming pattern follows: A, A, C, D and C, D. So I have explained the first 12 lines of the poem. Your task is to find out the rhyming pattern in the next 12 lines. Okay, so this will be your assignment, this will be your homework. Okay, so this was all about the rhyming pattern I wanted to discuss. Now we will be writing the meanings. Okay, the first word that we are going to write is dive. Okay, let's write the meanings. Number 1 is dive. Okay, to plunge into water, to plunge into water, head first, with your head going first. Okay, to plunge means jump. Okay, number 2 is dip, D-I-E, dip means drop or go to a lower level. Number 3 now. Snaps. Make a cracking sound. Cracking sound. Okay. Fourth one. Source. Fly or rise higher. Fly or rise in the air. Okay. Fifth. Tide. The alternate rising. The alternate rising and falling of the sea waves. Falling of the sea waves. Number 6. Gust is a rush of air or with a rush. 7. Slack. It means loose. Number 8. Raggeder, which means worn out or torn out. Right. We have 2 more words to write, so we will be doing that also. First, take a screenshot quickly. Okay. Again, 9. It's flaps. Flaps. It means an act of moving wings or arms. Wings or arms. Side to side or up and down. Okay. Next is crest. The highest point of a mountain. The highest point of a mountain. Mountain or a wave. Sea wave. Okay. So with this we finished the meanings as well. Okay. So now we will be moving to the exercises. Let's see how much we can finish in this video. List out the action words in the poem. 3 of the words are already given. Now let's see how many you can find. Dive, dip, snaps. Now other words are soars, rides, flaps, climb, run, pulls. A lot of action words. Action words are also called verb, right? They are doing words. They are verb. So let's write it down. Number 1, you have to write the question and answer both. Okay, so I'm just writing the answer. You have dive, dip, snaps. What you have to write are these words: source, rides, flaps, pulls, run. Okay, also you have climb, you can write that as well. So these words you have to fill up in the blank. Okay, so and you have to find the meanings of the words. So this will be your homework. Okay, this will be your assignment. Now moving to the second question. Read these lines from the poem. Then soars like a ship with only a sail. The movement of the tailless kite is compared to a ship with a sail. So the kite is compared here to a ship. Okay, tailless means what? It doesn't have a tail. So it is a tailless kite and it's compared to a ship with a sail. I have already told you what is a simile. Simile is the comparison between two unlike objects, two objects which are very different from each other. So a kite is compared to a ship. They are totally different object. Okay, so this is called a simile. Can you suggest what or who the following actions may be compared to? So we will be doing this. He runs like a, okay, he runs like a deer or cheetah. Let's write it down. Second question. He runs like a deer or cheetah. You can write any one of them, either a deer or a cheetah. Okay. He eats like a horse. If you know anyone as hungry as a horse, you can write it down. Now he sings like a nightingale. Nightingale. Okay. Now it shines like a glowworm. Even diamond would do. Okay. Glowworm or diamond. Anything which shines can be filled up here. Okay. You can choose your own examples. Be creative. You don't need to copy my answer. You can write your own answers. It has to be correct. It flies like a kite. It flies like a kite. It flies like an aeroplane. It can be anything. Okay. So please take a screenshot if you want. Okay. Again, number 3. Try to make a kite with your friends. Collect the things required such as color paper, newspaper, thread, glue, a thin stick that can be bent. After making the kite, see if you can fly it. So this is an interesting activity that you can do. I'll be assigning this work for you. Okay. So this marks the end of the chapter. I hope you understood the poem. I hope you understood the important elements of poetry, and you won't be having any problem to identify simile and alliteration now. So thank you for joining the lesson. I hope to see you in the next video. Till then, please take care of yourself and your family. Bye bye.